Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to do once more a complete Elliott Waves analysis on XCN's price chart, and I'm going to tell you why am I so optimistic and believe that Onyxcoin is primed indeed for yet another magnificent phase of the bull run, possibly even like a 5 to 10x move on the upside. So are you ready? Let's get into details. Let's go around here first. There we go. You see, in terms of Elliott Waves, if you want to argue that we're going to have our final low around here, maybe this is like a very important support, then you need to be able to find off of the lowest low in this region, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside. This specific example is an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And in terms of Elliott Waves, you know what is going on in case that you are a regular viewer of the channel. 5 wave up into wave 1, 3 and 5. Excuse me, there we go. And for wave 2 and 4, we can have different counts. It's not really that important. Let's say, sure, ABC into 4 and AWXY into wave 2. Also, here is another very important point about a 5 wave on the upside. For our corrections, we are most likely going to see slow and choppy moves on the downside, which are going to take some time. On the other hand, it's quite the opposite for our wave 1, 3 and 5, meaning we're going to see a strong moves on the upside that are not really going to take a whole lot of time. Understood? Okay, because now we are going to use this in our analysis, and let's zoom in more. So where is the lowest low? It is actually right down here. And what do we have off of it? As you can see, a clear cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside, a very strong move, followed by that. I think starting from this high to about this point, we completed a correction in form of, I believe it is an ABC expanded flat, and then this is yet another clear cut impulse on the upside, and it's actually much stronger than this initial 5 wave, which is what, you know it, a very important characteristic of a wave 3. So here is what I have to say. I believe in XCN, there's a very high chance we are having a wave 1 and a higher degree correction for wave 2, huge move into wave 3, and the current move down that we are having, odds are it's just going to be a correction for 4, and followed by that, what are we going to have? Yet another magnificent move on the upside into wave 5. And in terms of the targets, the bare minimum one is going to be taking the highest side in here about, let's say, 5 cents area, which means from the current point we can at least expect 170% move on the upside. But I do not believe that we are going to stop there. No, I'm thinking we are probably going to go much higher than that. And for example, a 10 cents XCN is not really that unrealistic. I think that can actually be in play by the end of this cycle. So the overall scenario in the long term, meaning in the next 6 months to a year or two, is absolutely bullish and optimistic. But what about some short-term structures? You see, fortunately, even in that area, I think I have good news for you. Let's zoom in more and see what is happening. So I believe there's a very good argument to be made for this whole move on the downside to about this point around, let's say, 0.7 of a cents to be a correction structure into our wave 4, and our wave 4 did actually end right in here. Why? Simple. What do we have off of this low? As you can see, once more, a very beautiful picture perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very strong move. And you need to also pay attention to the fact that the next move after this 5 wave up is very slow and choppy. Why is it that I'm saying that? Because let's just measure this move down timing wise from here to about this low. How long did it take for us to have this thing? About 430 candlesticks. On the other hand, this move on the upside took us how long? As you can see, about 25 candlesticks. So this means despite having way more than enough time, almost 20x times more, seems like that bears are absolutely failing to pull the price all the way back down to these levels, meaning bulls do still have the upper hand, and this move on the upside wasn't necessarily just because of a short squeeze process. And again, focus on the word just because of short squeeze, okay? I do think one reason for having this move up was indeed because of the short squeeze, but another reason seems to be because of bulls having quite a bit of power and wanting to establish a very strong low in here. Now, about the shape of our correction, you see, we can have many different possibilities. For example, one scenario indicates that we are having an ABC zigzag, and now I'm going to argue the end of our C leg wasn't actually right in here. Now, let's just drag this one, excuse me. There we go. Let's actually go around here first. You see, for an ABC zigzag, you are going to have subwaves like this. 5 down into A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Correction for wave B. Let's say, yeah, okay, sure. WXY, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into wave C. And sure, this is a 5 wave down, but I'm going to say on a higher degree, it's actually into a wave 1, followed by maybe an ABC flat into wave 2, another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into wave 3, correction for 4, another move on the downside into wave 5, and excuse me, I think the end of our wave 4 may have been right in here, possibly in form of an A, B, C, D, E, a triangle structure. And on a higher degree, you know what, that's absolutely fine. I do believe that we are having the subwaves for an ABC zigzag, possibly even an ABC flat. It doesn't honestly matter a whole lot. The point that I'm trying to make is this: in XCN, overall in this phase, I do believe we are having a correction structure, and whether the low of our correction is already in or not, you know what, that can be up for debate. Naturally, makes sense to argue that the low is in right in here, but for the reasons that I'm going to talk to you about in a minute, I'm gonna say we need to be cautiously optimistic. So let's zoom in more and see what is happening. And I think, yep, this can be 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into wave 3, ABC for 4, another move up into wave 5. Also, off of the lowest low, we do have a beautiful looking 5 wave on the upside. Between these two 5 waves also, we are having a correction structure down. I'm gonna say probably yes, a WXY in form of a double zigzag. And what really matters in XCN at the moment, in like very short term, is what is going to happen right around this area. Why is that? Because in case that you end up seeing a very slow move down, and between our pullbacks, you are just constantly able to identify overlapping of the waves, that's actually going to be a great sign. Why? Because that is going to indicate, you know what, the low is already in, and on a higher degree, this may end up being a wave 1, correction for wave 2, decent move up into wave 3, correction for 4, and yet another move on the upside into wave 5. And of course, we can have some more bullish counts. For example, if you want to be more optimistic, you can say this is 1, this is 2, and then we're gonna have like a huge move up into wave 3, 4, 5, which on a higher degree, it's going to be into this wave 3, correction for 4, and yet another move up into wave 5. This is also one possibility, but I really do not want to get your hopes up that much. So in case this is not going to be in play, you're not really going to be disappointed. Now, here's a very important point. What you do not want to see in Onyxcoin in like very short term is a very strong move down, maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without a lot of overlapping of the waves. Why is that such a bad sign? Because that is going to indicate, you know what, this is actually a correction structure and not an impulse. And maybe in terms of the shape of it, it's just going to be a simple A, B, C zigzag. And also, if we do get a very strong move down, in this phase, I need you to have your eyes on this unbelievably important low about, let's say, 1.3 cents. Why? Because if we go down from the current point and take this low, at that point, there is going to be pretty much no shot for us to be able to find a 5 wave on the upside off of the lowest low, meaning we have to kind of argue we are dealing with a correction structure and our move down is just simply not over yet. Now, why did I say earlier we need to be cautiously optimistic and not overwhelmingly bullish? Because in terms of classic TA, meaning supports and resistances, as you can see, there was actually this period of time where we got under this important level. And right now, okay, we are back above it, but it's not really confirmed that we are going to stay here and successfully reclaim this level. No, there's actually a chance that we may see XCN going under here once more. And this is the key, pay attention. I'm really not able to find a whole lot of strong support until where? Until all the way down here between, let's say, 0.8 of a cent to about 0.96 of a cent. That is, in my opinion, one very, very important reason for why in XCN we need to be absolutely careful and not jump into any unnecessary bullish conclusion. And again, you want to remember, even in case that we get a move down and reach to about this level, even in that scenario, overall, you are going to see me remaining absolutely optimistic and bullish, because I do think on a higher degree, this is the one, this is the two, and what's next? You know what? Massive move up into wave 345 in order to complete the sub waves for this larger degree wave 5. So the overall scenario in Onyxcoin is absolutely bullish. In the short term, there is also a good argument to be made for the final low to be already in, but at the same time, we need to be 100% objective and at any given moment come up with a bullish and also a bearish count at the same time, and pay full attention to what is going to happen to the current move, because in my opinion, that's actually what really matters. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in XCN. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.